societal direction, I guess, other than keep a job.
Keep a job, get married, and have kids. I feel like that is basically the last milestones that society has laid out for us, which who the fuck knows if we're ever gonna get there. Oh, retire and then die. Hello, clowns.
I'm Amee.
I'm Yuchen, and we're the hosts of Clown Vibes Podcast.
We're two best friends who are chronically online and get together weekly to laugh and discuss all the clown behavior we see on the internet.
And there's so much.
Truly so much.
We're so glad to have you here to clown around with us, and we hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, clowns, and welcome to the last Clown Vibes episode of the year only. I know one person that's listening that's probably was excited, but then was disappointed.
We swerved you. Sorry. We're here for the foreseeable future.
We decided that this is going to be our last episode of the year for a couple of reasons that we're going to get through. But most of all, we are almost approaching, as we're recording this, December. So the year is ending. And I'm scared because I was just what did I accomplish this year? But we'll get into it. I feel like I accomplished a lot.
And also, you know what? It's why do we need to accomplish anything?
Yeah.
You could not if you want. It's okay.
I accomplished to get sick. That's what I accomplished.
You accomplish that every year, so don't worry. Okay. You can always just check that.
Yeah, but we'll kind of go through a lot of pits and peaks of the pod this year at the end, but as always with Clown Vibes, we started Clown Vibes to talk about two things. One, clown moments in our life and clown moments that we see out there in the internet. And so I want to start this episode with one of our favorite clown stories, because I don't think we've talked about this clown story yet on the pod. And it is actually very relevant to what we've been seeing on the internet. So do you remember when is it just MGM that got hacked? I feel like so many companies got hacked this year.
Everyone is getting hacked left and right.
Everyone's getting hacked left and right. But what happened in Vegas was actually just hilarious in itself. And did you hear about it?
Tell me the story. No, I don't know.
I think it was the same time you were getting hacked.
I was busy dealing with my own personal crisis. Okay, tell me the MGM hack.
I don't know if it's MGM specifically, but it was all the casinos in Vegas got hacked because someone found this random person on LinkedIn that worked for the casinos, and they pretended to be them, and they just called their emergency help desk and it's help, I'm locked out, and they basically just reset everything for them.
Oh my God. Wow, that's really bad security. I don't know if I've told you the story. I must have. But one time I came back to work and my password had just vanished from my brain.
That happened to me.
And this was when I was at EY. And it took me 2 hours to convince IT to let me back in, because they'd be like, well, give me this number. I'm like, I can't, because I can't get into my laptop and I don't know it. I didn't memorize this random shit. And I don't remember how they eventually were fine, it must be you. But
how did you convince?
They had better security. I have no idea. I literally was I don't know what you want me to do. Why don't you text my phone number or something? I will FaceTime you. I will do anything. I need to work. I have to do stuff, and I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, I don't understand how this happens psychologically, but you know how the same thing with my first company, they give you this super long password. Mine was 9 digits, and that's how I logged in every single fucking day. And just one day I was my brain was I don't have space to remember that really important password. But at that point, it's muscle memory.
Yeah, I kept putting my hands on the keyboard to be work, brain, work, work, brain, work. Just form some connections, and nothing. My fingers were nope.
Nah, dude, we're not working today.
That's wild that for such a high risk situation, they were just sure, here's the password.
Yeah, no one could get their money, no one could check out to the or check in, or check out to the hotels, the credit card. I don't know how it ties to the credit card, but it was a bad situation.
Yeah.
But similarly, I mean, we already announced it, but Amee also got hacked this year.
I got hacked by a Nigerian hacker, and I kept calling him a he because I thought he was an asshole, but it could have been a she.
Oh, really?
Or a they.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually never sure gender-wise who it was, but it's confirmed from Nigeria because I could see this person's location
How?
on like Instagram and stuff. First, he texted me. He said, "Hey, is this your profile? Like, do you want it back?" And I didn't reply because I was like, I'm not paying money for this stupid profile. I don't care. I mean, I care a lot, but
Wait,
like,
did you know it was hacked at that point?
yes, yeah, I already knew it was hacked at that point. Like, randomly, I decided to look at my Hotmail, which I never do, and it said like, oh, Instagram like sent an email that was like, your email changed. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't do this. So then I was like, what's going on? I may be getting hacked. So I was like trying to go through all of the hack thing. And like on Instagram, if you don't have like some kind of like Google Authenticator app or something,
Two-factor.
you
Yeah.
have to send them a video. No, I have two-factor. It's like a third factor. Like, it's fucking weird. You have to send them a video basically of you following the motions of this like arrow. And the amount of times I like looked at my phone, looked to the side, looked up, like it was jail. It's so stupid. But anyway, so I did that like for 2 hours right when I got hacked. I was incessantly trying to keep this profile from the hacker. And like, Instagram's so fucking dumb because you can link other accounts to your account. And if you link other accounts, you can log in
From there. Yeah.
to any account from those accounts. And I didn't know the password to the other accounts. So I couldn't like remove them in a succinct or like hack those ones back from the hacker. And when you remove them from your account, it says it takes up to 14 days. So it was never actually removed. So I was fighting tooth and nail trying to like put all the security measures like back to my stuff and like, you know, do all of the things I could do before they hacked it back. But like the first 2 hours they were fighting really hard too. So it was a battle. And then I gave up because I was just like, my brain is hurting. I am exhausted and so stressed about this. And so anyway, this went on for like 6 or 7 days. Like, I was fighting back and forth, not as often because I would only be like, okay, I'm gonna only devote 30 minutes a day to getting my Instagram back. And I just can't put more effort than that into it. What sucks is like I went to a wedding that weekend. I literally had my friend message him, like, I guess message my profile being like, hey, we're at a wedding and like we want to post. Can you please just give the account back for a little bit? And he did. I did get it back, and then he took it back when I got home. So I was like, I guess my job is done. I've already posted what I wanted to post, but I posted a story of me being like, just LOL, sharing this account with my Nigerian hacker, and he deleted it. And I was like, damn, dude, just accept the joke.
Yeah.
Like, none of my friends think that, like, this is me. Like, I mean, that, like, I don't know, that I'm being, like, hacked still, like, whatever. Yeah, no one fell for the scam. So it's like, just if you want my account, we can share it, but, like, don't delete my stories.
Yeah, and it's like, what is this person trying to get out of your followers? Like, none of your followers are falling for his or her scam. So it's like,
yeah,
why try put so much energy?
Yeah, he messaged so many people trying to get them to like sign up with this other account to like make a shit ton of money. And he messaged random influencers from my profile, like just anyone. And it's just like, they're not looking at my DM, and this is embarrassing. And like, my old coworker Vivian, she wrote, "Oh, I'm already rich. Like, sorry." And he just wrote, "Okay." And I posted that on my story too. I think it was something like that. It was like honestly so freaking funny. And he deleted that too. Any funny story surrounding the hack, he deleted anytime he got the profile back. And it was just rude. Like, we're just gonna have fun here.
You
No
were
need
really
to delete
distraught.
it. I gave you it back. I was like, the first couple of days, it was like giving me so much anxiety because it's just kind of like, I have so much stuff on this Instagram, so many people. I kept thinking like, how can I start over on Instagram, and like, how will people know that we have this podcast if I have to get a new account and I lose access to these people?
No, I think what's hilarious is as this was happening, I think it was a period when you got your account back. We were like, why did
Uh-huh.
we lost a follower on Clown Vibes? And it was you. Like I was just like,
Oh yeah, it
why
was
aren't you
me.
following us?
No, and like okay, so what was like really nice actually, but like also like annoying a little bit is that in the 2 hours that I was fighting really really hard to get my account back, everyone and their mom was texting me, "Hey, you got hacked." Like people I don't talk to on like any sort of regular basis texted me. And it's like that's nice of you, but also I am in a battle. Like I've got to take some time for myself right now to like fight this. But anyway, so like one of my friends who I haven't talked to in a while, like we ended up like catching up, and he was like, "What's your podcast called again?" Because he took it out of your bio. And so when I finally did get back in, he took it out of my bio. He blocked Clown Vibes and unfollow. I mean, I guess when you block, you have
Yeah.
to unfollow. And I was just like, "What? What did Clown Vibes do to you?"
Wait, but what about all of your other like accounts, like Phoebe's account?
Okay, first of all, I forgot Phoebe's password, so honestly, Phoebe might be hacked. But
Phoebe's is just out there scamming everyone right now.
girl on the plane, he didn't like know that it was me, I guess. And so I was like basically on girl on the plane, like on my profile trying to like see what happened. And yeah, it was a stressful week of fighting back and forth with this guy. And then like for a few days he stopped. So I was like, "Oh, hallelujah, we're done." Then I get into my accident, and the next day he hacks me again. And I'm like, "God, this is not the time."
Wait, so how did you finally
Like,
stop?
please. I don't know. I think he got tired.
He's like, this ain't worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he was like, "Let me try one more time." And then I took it back again. And then he hasn't since, thank God. But I don't know. It was a journey. And I forgot that it happened until you
What?
wrote it in the outline. I blocked it out, even though it was so recent, because I was just like, I don't want to know that this happened to me this year.
I just remember it happening before I left for my Japan trip, and then I would like never asked or heard about it again. I'm just like, she's still on Instagram.
It's because I was in battle mode. I was in focus mode. And I had enough people around me that I was just like complaining live and I didn't have to text
Yeah.
you. So it's fine.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, here's to the new year and hoping that you do not get hacked again this year.
Yeah. And everyone kept yelling at me, like, "What kind of password security do you have?" This and that. I'm like, "No, dude. It's Instagram's fault." And to everyone, I kept explaining the linked account thing, this and that. And then they were like, "Okay." I'm like, "Yeah, why do you guys automatically assume it was somehow me being dumb? I'm actually smart, okay? Like, I got it back."
My password, I would say my password's pretty strong because I cannot for the life of it remember it. So, like,
Exactly.
if I can barely remember it, there's no way I'm getting hacked.
And oh my God. And like when I kept trying to get it back, I would have to keep changing the password. And then one time I just forgot the password. I'm like, I do not know what I changed it to. And it was like 2 minutes before because we were in an ongoing battle. And I just was like, ah, I don't remember my password.
Okay, so a security tip though, everyone listening, do not save your like login credentials into Google's like bookmark bar. You know how like every time you enter something, they're like, "Do you want to save this?" Don't do it because if
Yeah.
your email gets hacked, you're donezo. Finished.
Well, F, because everything is in that. But in that time frame, I was like, I have to get a password manager. And then once the hacking was over, I was like, I cannot be bothered. And so I still haven't.
I do need to get my dad a password manager, like a secure password manager, not Google, because I am currently his password manager. He'll just like text me. He's like, "What's the password to the Wi-Fi?" I'm just like, "It ain't secure. It's just underneath our like modem thing. We didn't change it."
That's secure though.
Is it?
Kind of. I mean, it's like other people can't like hack into your Wi-Fi. You'd have to be physically in your home.
No, but like, what about
You know?
the manufacturer, like a disgruntled employee?
Okay, well, I guess they could. They could have gotten it anyway, even if you changed it.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Don't worry.
All right. On to our main topic. We're not talking about hacking for like the entire episode. So it is our last episode, but it is about to be Amee and I's last year in our 20s. Yes, you've guessed it. We are turning 29. And it has caused us a lot of reflections and reactions. So, this
Mm-hmm.
episode is all about like our expectations of being in our 20s. What has society like put on us to like expect out of being in our 20s? What is the reality of being in our 20s? And like, what do we want out of our last year being in our 20s? How many times can I say 20s?
I know. The limit does not exist. Wow. That was a lot. And, I don't know
No
what else to
thoughts.
say. No thoughts. Okay. We have to narrow down the question. Give us the first question. That was too many questions. I dissociated a little bit while you were talking.
That's usually how our podcast goes. Okay, Emmy, how do you feel about your 29th birthday? You know what I was just thinking as you were telling your hacking story?
What?
I bet so many more people messaged you that you got hacked than like what you would typically expect out of a birthday wish. You know how like
Oh,
people texting
100%.
people for like
Yeah.
happy birthday? Way more people care that you got hacked.
Oh, way more people care that I got hacked. Like, I got messages from numbers like I was like, who are you? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we're friends, but I don't have your number.
Yeah.
I am feeling okay. I don't know. Like, it hasn't hit me yet, and I don't think it'll ever hit me because half the time I don't even remember how old I am. So,
Yeah, if you listen to our COVID gap year episode, you'll learn that we both still think we're 25. Anything
yeah.
past 25, I saw a TikTok, it was a joke about this, but it's like anytime you hear someone's like on the other side of 25, you just automatically assume they're 30 or something.
26 to 29 is like such a black hole. And this year is like a little different because I'll be traveling for my birthday. Like, I won't be
What city will you
around
be in?
family, or like I will be in Dublin on my birthday. Me and Chris are gonna live it up for 2 days before the wedding stuff. But I don't know, it'll just be a very different birthday than normal. I wonder if I'll even like clock it really. I'll just be like cold.
That's how I feel about every single birthday. You know what? I've been getting a lot of birthday TikToks, and I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it's just the algorithm or reading how I'm feeling, but all of my birthday TikToks are just like behind every girl who doesn't make their birthday like a big deal is a girl that like has been disappointed year after year, and I'm just like, fuck you guys. Like, A, that's true, but B, fuck you guys. Like, why'd you have to call me out like that?
I saw that TikTok too, so I think it was just popular.
So we're all feeling it.
Yeah. Although I do generally make a deal out of my birthday, so it's not really me.
No,
But I
you
do have so
don't.
much anxiety around it always.
Oh, yes, you do have a lot of anxiety about your birthday.
Yeah.
I think, okay, I mean, everything's a spectrum, right? It's not like you're
Mm-hmm.
asking us all to fly to Dublin and spend like your birthday with you, which
That would be psycho.
people do. Like, people make, I didn't realize, but there are people who make big deals about their 25th birthday. And I'm just like, 25? We have no money at 25. How are we supposed to go on these
Yeah.
like elaborate trips? But people do that. And that's like not me, but
I guess like when I say like I make a deal out of it, like usually I have like some kind of party thing. Like my 25th birthday, if it was the birthday before COVID, I still have not done the math. We did a bike bar. That was so fun. But I mean, that's like $20 a person. Like, it's not like a big
yeah.
commitment, but I am still like gathering people to do something for my birthday, which always does feel weird, but I do it anyway.
Yeah, I think for me, I've this year's birthday is gonna be just a normal day. I was about to work on my birthday, I think. Is
No.
it Friday or is it Saturday? I can't remember. Anyways, context for the
Friday, I
audience.
think.
My birthday is always like around Thanksgiving, which is tough to celebrate with people outside of your family because everyone, for the most part, is traveling or with their families on my
Yeah.
exact birthday. And like, same, like, I,
Mm-hmm.
now that I don't live near my family, rarely have time to go back to see my family. So I also want to spend that time with my family. So it's like when people ask to hang out on my birthday, I'm also a little bit hesitant because I'm just like, nah, I'd rather spend it with my family.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'm home and sometimes I'm not, but it is just weird. I did work on my birthday last year actually, and I the whole day was like, what am I doing?
No, I think social media, I think, puts a lot of pressure on celebrating birthdays.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit weird because as I was thinking about this episode, I was thinking about how one of my friends used to tell me how, like, she threw this big party for her 40th birthday. Like, she rented out
Hmm.
not a room, but like a banquet hall in one of these, like, really nice hotels in New York. And I'm just like, I don't even
Whoa.
know if I would do that for my wedding. And I feel like that would be maybe my biggest event ever in
Yeah.
my lifetime. But it's just like people go all out. And now I'm just thinking, should I be going all out for my 40th? But it's also just so far
That's
away.
so far from now. Who knows like what life will be like in 11 years? No, I first of all, it's also a situation where I don't want to spend it with like 30 people usually. Like when I want to do something, like generally I like it to be under 5 people so that I can actually talk to everyone and like it's more comfortable. I think more people than that gives me anxiety.
Oh my gosh, yesterday at this Mexican place that kind of sucked, there was this big girl group celebrating this girl's birthday, which, like, I have not seen big, large girl groups in a while in SF, but they were there and they all
Yeah.
squeezed into this booth that we sat, like, that was right behind us. And it was one of the girls' birthdays. And so they, like, the staff, like, brought out something and, like, sang happy birthday to them. And we thought it was, like, over, like, we were clapping and everything. And then throughout the night, they came in and sang happy birthday, like, 3 other times. I was just like, guys, once is enough. Why are you guys coming back? Like, every time they brought out a shot for her, they were like, happy birthday. I'm just like, really? What about the rest of us?
Just cheers, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I bet she's
That's
turning
weird.
25. People be making big deals about being 25 these days.
No, I think it's like hard when you have such a big group. I guess like in a booth, it's like a little bit more intimate or whatever, but like imagine sitting just at a long table. Like you're not talking to anyone. And like if you're in the middle, like there's just so many groups happening. It's like, I don't like this.
What's interesting is I was reflecting on all the major life moments that are supposed to happen in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You're in college. Basically, not your like beginning years, but like your end years. So those are like pretty formative years. You're doing your internships, you're graduating, you've developed like really close friendships. You're starting,
Yeah.
hopefully, your first full-time job during that time as well. And you've
Mm-hmm.
probably throughout the like few years in your 20s have changed at least one job. So you've experienced
Yeah.
like the job market. Friendships is a tough one because I think, and I'll go into a little tangent, at the beginning of your 20s, you're probably still somewhat close to your high school friends or like friends that you've grown up with, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it was maybe like 2 years since you guys like graduated high school and went to college. But then throughout your 20s is when you start to kind of pull away from them. You guys all go through different paths. If you don't go to college together, if you don't live in the same city, it's really hard to keep up. And so I feel like that's when you first start to
Yeah.
feel that pull from friendships that you haven't experienced before.
Yeah, that's true. Even like post grad of college, like if both people are not making an effort, it's very easy to like have that friendship just dissipate. And making friends is so hard. Mid 20s is the first time you're like, how do I make new friends?
Exactly.
In a situation where you're not like just forced to be around the same people
Hmm.
all the time.
And no one talks about that. Everyone talks about like, oh, your first job or like your relationships or whatever. No one talks about in your 20s, you're gonna have to fucking learn how to make friends.
Yeah, it's so hard, especially if you're like, hey, I don't want just work friends. I want friends outside of work. Then it's like, okay,
How?
where would I make them? And I have tried a lot of ways. Like, I played Gaelic, I did this soccer team, like, you've done volleyball and stuff. And, like, it's not a slam dunk. Like, just because you do one of these things doesn't mean you're gonna make, like, great
Hmm.
friends. Like, it is a lot of effort.
A ton.
And it's like also like luck isn't the right word, but like you have to connect on something and like sometimes you just don't and that's fine, but it's hard.
Yeah, it's a difficult time because, on one hand, you're somewhat losing friendships in a way. There's no way you can be as
Yeah.
close to everyone in your past life. Even in college, I mean, we've experienced this, but like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely not as close to a lot of people that I used to talk to more. Just, I mean, purely due to
Yeah,
proximity and how our lives were similar at that point, but now it's so different. And
yeah,
then,
for
two,
sure.
also needing to like fill that I don't know, void, that like loss of friendship with new friendships. It's tough and it's also much harder
Yeah.
now. And it's, I don't think something that society, media really talks about frequently.
Yeah, and it's like at that point just have friendships that are like longer, and so they know you more, like it's just an easier friendship. And like friendships at the beginning are hard, like you don't really know how the person's going to react to things. Like it takes a lot of concentration and persistence for the friendship to evolve to the level like that maybe your previous friends had been at, and it takes time.
You know that TikTok trend that's going around right now? It's like, did we make it? And it shows the like photo of two people and like they were much younger and then now together. I was just thinking, oh, should we do that
Uh-huh.
for us? But I think we became friends in, is it 2015 or 2016?
I think 2015.
Okay.
Because that's when we had our internship.
Yeah. So I feel like we have 2 years until we hit our like 10-year friendship mark. Isn't that crazy? I always think I met you like 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. I have
That's
no
rude.
concept of time.
Oh, like you know that you met me a long time ago.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like you just think
It
it's been
feels
only
like,
4
I was
years.
like, oh yeah, I only met Amee like in my later years of like college, which is I guess true-ish, but like college was such a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. Time is crazy.
Watch me do this trend when we hit our 10-year mark and we don't make it.
No, why even put that in the universe? Knock on some wood right now. Thank you.
Okay, the second piece, or like more like the fourth, we talked about so many, is just relationships. Okay, when did you think, no, when you were in your tweens, when did you think you would get married?
25. Especially like I grew up in such a small town where it's like normal to get married like right after college, and like most of the people went to A&M, which is like a very ring by spring mentality. And so I was just like, okay, like I'll meet someone in college and get married right after. Like that was my thought pattern. And also back then, like I was like, yeah, I want kids because it's, I mean, or like that's just the normal thing to do. I was like, okay, well, I would want kids like 28, which is hilarious. I am a child who can't keep my apartment clean. I cannot handle a child
who also can't keep your apartment clean.
Like, that's hilarious. But yes, like I had a very traditional path in my mind just because of like the people I was surrounded by and like what the norm was. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
Same, yeah. I would say like I was boy obsessed prior to high school. I mean, I think after high school I definitely was like anti-boys for a while, but prior to that I was like, oh yeah, all the books that I read, all the rom-com movies that I loved, they all pretty much got married or had serious relationships super early. I had a boyfriend in high school that I graduated with, and like we went to college still together, but we were long distance. And you know, at that point I was just like, yeah, it's really common. Like I'll probably get married right after college, same as you, as like most people in my hometown. And also it doesn't help that my parents also met each other in college and kind of got married after college too. Like that was my expectation. But in my mind, like my parents always kind of explained their relationship as like they waited a while to get married, where all the rest of like their siblings, or at least on my mom's side, got married pretty immediately too. So in my mind, waiting until after college was like, oh, you're waiting a while. And like having kids by the time that you're like 30 is a little bit late, which makes no fucking sense now.
Literally no sense. Like I was a very different person back then anyway, but like in general, I guess like I just thought I was gonna mature a lot quicker, and that like, you know, each year I was gonna progress like whatever amount, but years fly by and like sometimes nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. And I want to go back to your point about how like you're not the same person you are now. I think one thing that society, or like just in general, we don't talk about more is how much you change in your 20s. Like 10 years is a big fucking gap, and to have it be, I don't know why, but do you get the sense that everyone thinks your 20s is supposed to be like the best years of your life?
Yeah, but I think the narrative has changed recently to where it's like the 30s are.
Right.
So I'm like, bring it on.
Exactly. But I almost feel like saying your 20s was to be the best years of life is so unrealistic because A, you're probably poor.
Yeah.
And then B, like you're going through all these different life changes that we just went through.
Are hard.
And it's like there's no, I would be scared if you're actually the same person that you were when you started in your 20s.
Yeah. And also, like, if I'm peaking in my 20s, like, I have a long life ahead, sadly. I don't want to peak in my 20s. And I think it's just like a time where you have to really adapt in a way that you haven't before because things were just set out for you in like a go to high school, go to college type of way. And now you're just like living, floating in this world with no direction, like no, you know, societal direction, I guess, other than keep a job.
Keep a job, get married, and have kids. I feel like that is basically the last milestones that society has laid out for us, which who the fuck knows if we're ever gonna get there. Oh, retire and then die.
Yeah, and like first of all, like all of these things can happen at any time. So it's like, okay, these are my directives for the next 40 years. Like, I don't understand what to do with that.
What do I do in between?
Yeah, like what's supposed to be happening? It's just such a weird time. It's also a time where I realize like I don't really care about like working, and like I had all of these goals when I was in college, and when I got to the quote unquote real world, I was like, this place sucks. I don't like care if I am working like a cool consulting job or whatever. Like,
it's not
I
cool.
Just want to chill. It's not cool. And we were lied to a lot.
So how do you want to end your last year in your 20s?
Oh, God. Okay, so I've been thinking about this a lot. My word for this year was neutrality. And, you know, I will give myself a little bit of credit. I think I achieved it somewhat. I don't think in totality. But I do feel like I am much, much more neutral than I was in January. But I don't feel like I finished it, so I think like I want to carry that into my last year too. Like I think if I can like really achieve neutrality before my 30s, I will thrive.
Okay, so your word of the year for 2024 is going to be neutrality again?
Yes.
Cop out! Like,
okay, or it's going to be like, well, okay, in yoga the other day, I was like, my word for 2024 is going to be calmness or like stillness. Mostly like in a mental sense, which is so similar to neutrality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have not achieved this, so I have to continue working on that.
Okay. I admire your dedication to achieving neutrality. Like, you are committed. Like, it's hard to get that type of commitment in this world, but you are committed to achieving neutrality.
Yes, I am committed to it. I mean, we'll see. My therapist was like, okay, our last session of this year, which is like after I come back from my trip, we'll talk about like goals from this year and then what like our plan is next year. So I'll keep you guys posted on if it changes, but I think it's still going to be the same.
Okay, so my word for 2023 was stability. And I always have to ask Amee, I was like, what is my word for 2023? Because I don't remember. But it was stability. And to give the group a background, I mean, you can listen to our first episode, but the quality is bad. Anyways, we kind of go into detail about why we chose each of our words, but I think in 2022 I had a really unstable year, so I was looking for more stability across my career, across relationships, friendships, and I think I achieved that in 2023.
I think you did too.
Like, remember I was texting you about the episode, I'm just like, why was I so tame this year? Like, nothing really happened except for a few things.
Because you were trying to follow your goal.
And I'm just like, oh, it's because I was so fucking stable. That's why.
Yeah.
But, okay, so my word for 2024, Amee already knows this, but it's going to be TikTok. It's so different from my 2023 word or what your word is going to be, but for background.
Yeah.
Amee and I have been trying to grow our Clown Vibes TikTok. Shout out if you want to follow at Clown Vibes Podcast. To no fucking success. Like, it has been the bane of our
success, but very rare. It is really demoralizing, and I love that that's your goal because I think it'll be great.
Yeah, okay, well, it's TikTok because I'm like, I either want to grow my own personal account. If you aren't following me, it's yuchen.gif or gif, however you pronounce it, and I'm not consistent. And I also don't know what I'm posting, but I'm just posting random shit. And so I'm just like, okay, either if I grow my own personal account, maybe it'll grow the Clown Vibes account because I just want to be able to link
Yeah.
our fucking podcast. But
Yeah.
the ultimate goal is to grow the Clown Vibes podcast account either way. And if I make it my word, I just know we'll achieve it.
Yeah. And I think like it's been better this last week.
Has
We've had
it?
a little bit of momentum. Yeah, that picture thing that you posted did well. And then a few of the TikToks after did get out of 200 view jail.
But before we were at 300 view jail, how did our threshold go down?
TikTok fucking hates us. And what's like annoying is so many, like, we'll have a lot of good engagement.
Yeah.
And it'll still be in 200 view jail.
Yeah. So mark my words.
But I'm excited for this goal.
I was telling my friend this goal at dinner a week ago, and he was like, okay, where do you want to grow it to? I said 5K followers. What do you think about that?
Oh my God!
Wait, do you think that's unattainable?
I think it's like with TikTok, it is a crapshoot. It could happen or it could just fully not. Like it's gonna be one way or the other. Like we get really close or it happens, or we just don't get anywhere near it. We would basically need 5 to 10 videos really take off, I think, to get there.
Okay, so when I told him 5K, he was just like, oh, that sounds really reasonable. I was like, really?
Is he on TikTok?
He also wants to grow. So he has a side business, for those of you wondering. And he, like, one of his goals is he wants to hire like a social media manager, someone who to like put more strategy into what their TikTok or social media presence is going to be. And so I want to do something similarly for Clown Vibes, but it's me. We can't hire anyone.
Yeah. You are doing it. Okay, I think like it's a good goal to aim for.
Reach, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep the team updated. The team as in you.
I'm going to start sending you WhatsApp starting with, hi team.
Hub team meeting.
On the podcast topic, tell everyone what our plans are for the next year.
Okay.
Our new strategy change for episodes.
Yes. So, wanted to wrap this episode up by giving this team, a message. Give this team an update on how we are thinking about the strategy for next year. If you're still listening to the podcast, like, thank you so much. No matter like how you found us, whether it's at the very beginning where Amee and I hounded you to listen to our podcast and you for some reason have continued to listen, or if you found us organically, we are so appreciative of your support. For next year, we think that, we love the concept of Clown Vibes and we are keeping that, but we are going into a strategy where we're going to release seasons instead. So to be very transparent, one thing that we've learned while doing this podcast for a full fucking year is that it's really hard. It's really hard.
So hard.
Doing this with full-time jobs and also with like other commitments that we have. Traveling. Like, of course, this is a side hustle at the end of the day, but like we don't want this to take over our entire lives, and we also want to put out really great content. I want to hold us to like a really high standard, and to be honest, I mean, like, we're not meeting those standards. I mean, you and I both know.
No, we're not. I think some episodes do, but then because we have, I guess, we did commit this year to weekly episodes, it is really hard when you're kind of in like a slump of topic ideas. And while we have like a backlog of so many ideas, the thing is sometimes it's just not the right time for them. And it's especially lately gotten very hard to come up with ideas that we like. And I think the episodes that do well and like are good content are ones that we care about. And there has been some lately where like whatever. Yeah. It is like we half care.
So if you feel the slump coming from us in our episodes, we're sorry. We recognize it, and we think that in order to just be able to push out more content that is up to a higher standard, that is more creative, that is edited better, we just need more time than the time in between each episode to like edit. Like, producing a podcast is a ton of work. I think it's a lot more work than you and I anticipated. And to be able to grow our podcast, we need honestly more time.
Yeah, and it's hard, like, because we are having to do a lot of our, like, quote unquote marketing off the cuff. Like, it is not really planned. It's just kind of like, okay, like, what's an idea that maybe will work for this week's episode? And I think if we just had more time, it would also make our TikTok content better and hopefully get us out of TikTok jail.
Mm-hmm. So our idea for like seasons, I don't know what the quantity of seasons will be like, but essentially we're going to somewhat pre-record all of our podcasts and then release it immediately as a group. We don't know if it's going to be themed or not just yet, but you know, with the idea of Clown Vibes, we can take it so many ways. So we're really excited to be able to switch to this new strategy, and you're going to hear back from us, but maybe just not immediately in the new year.
We will keep you guys posted. If anything, we'll do like a little 2-minute update once we nail things down. But I'm excited for our new way of life, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, fun stuff. What was your favorite episode of this year?
Ooh, that's so tough.
I know.
Should I say our stalker episode?
Jail, but like whatever. Okay, that's a great episode. I do love that. I think I have been in between two episodes. I think one, the Ozempic episode, because I love giving my opinion on Mindy Kaling. And then two, the episode with Fish on Hunger Games. Like, that was such a huge episode for us. Like, our first guest, you know, reading a book that I was like obsessed with the first half of this year was just really fun. And I think it was a cool like moment for the podcast.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say the Fish episode. What did you think I was gonna say? Did you have any ideas?
I thought you were gonna say PR relationships, maybe.
Okay.
Or yeah, I think that's what you were gonna say. I can't. None of the books were great.
Yeah,
like those sucked.
I love our guest episodes, and I love all the guests that we've had so far. Like, all of them have been so great. But at the end of the day, we can't keep having, or we're not big enough to have guests every single episode. And I do think that like Clown Vibes essentially is like a podcast between the two of us. Like, it's never going to be a podcast where we're frequently having guests like other podcasts. And so like sticking true to brand, I think Stalker Clowns was one of my favorite episodes where truly like tied back to what Clown Vibes was.
Yeah. That's why I think like 5 the Ozempic episode was such a good one. I think like that's when we really caught a stride. Like, that was a few episodes in. We were more used to recording. I think it was like really good content. If the quality of sound wasn't there, that's okay. But it was the first podcast we recorded that I was like, damn,
this could be something.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Not immediately, but it was like, okay, this felt a lot more natural than the last few times we've recorded, and we're getting the hang of this.
All right, if you're still listening, thank you so much for sticking with us through the entire year of Clown Vibes. I hope everyone has a great rest of 2023, and we'll see you in 2024. Bye, clowns.
Thanks so much for listening. You can follow us on all social media at Clown Vibes Podcast, or email us at clownvibespodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like our show and want to support us, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating and review. That's it for today. Bye, clowns.
Bye, clowns.